Now let's start working with Excel Lab 3. What I have here in front of me is I have the Excel Lab 2 where we left off on the left hand side, and I have the instructions for Excel Lab 3 which we'll find on Canvas under this module, and we're going to go on. Now today what we're going to do is we're going to add orders to this, and we're going to add some we're going to start with some formulas, and then we're going to do some more formatting of the screen. So let's just dig on in. And in this video we're going to format the column widths and the height and do cell borders. So the first thing we're going to do is format the column widths. Some of you may have already done it, but that's okay. The specific widths is not important. The important thing is that you can see what you need to see, the text in there. Now column B, which is this column right here, needs to be the widest, and what I'm going to do, you can either highlight the column by clicking on the B, and then you see up here at the top, when that cursor changes to a plus sign with two arrows, drag that over like we did before, and just drag that over until you can see everything in there. And I'm going to press Control Z to undo that. Otherwise, I can double click on the B, between the B and the C, and it will widen this column to the widest text. So that takes care of the first thing. B is the largest. L and M are the next largest. So if we go over here and we look at column L, and we look at, excuse me, on my dog. Okay, I'm back, got my dog out of the way. L and M are the next largest columns. So you see here for the count, if you look at the picture down here, column L, where it says count, is a pretty wide column. So let's go ahead and make this column wider, and then this M column, let's make it wider also, so that all of the data fits in there, all of the text. And then I'm going to just move this down a little bit. So there we've got those two. The next one is column A is the smallest. So if I go back over here to column A, this is where we numbered this. So if I go to column A and I double click, that will narrow that down. So all there is just room for those numbers, and that's what it looks like in the sample. C through K are all the same size. Well, that doesn't tell you a lot, does it? So let's look at what this looks like. And if you highlight C through K, and then we can choose any of these and narrow that down. You see what I said about originally, that it doesn't matter how wide they are at this point, just so that they're like this, they're the next wider. Because you see here on the sample, this smoking jalapeno almonds does go over and covers over the count column. Now, what's next there? So those are all the same size. So we got that done. And like it says, adjust your text boxes as necessary, looking at the picture, and I'm going to let you do that. Format your row height. If you format, and that means all of these rows from line 11 to line 29. And the way you format the height of a row is you have them highlighted, all as a group, so that they will all be formatted at once. Right click. One of your options is row height. And right now it's set at 0.21 inches. So if I go 0.28 inches, you see it how it increased the row height there. So there's more room. Now the cell borders. Take a look at page 2. We're going to have to look at that and see what it is, but not all cells have borders. Some borders are thicker than others, and one column has a 2-line border. So if you take a look at these, you see here where this is thicker, and I'm also right here between the, what is that, the L and the M column. It is much thicker. You've got a double line here between, here, okay, right between the H and the I column. So, and some cells, like we say, some cells don't have borders. So let's start here. All of these have borders all the way around. This is sort of like the borders in Word. If you go to your Home tab and you go to your it's not in your, it's in your alignment. I'm not used to using it this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to maximize it to find it. And it's right here in your font group. Okay, so let's minimize this again so we can use this. And here it is. So in your home and your font group, here is your borders. So what kind of border do you want all around these? You want just a plain border, but you want in between columns all the way around. So I'm going to press enter, and there's your border all the way around it. There's no border between L and M, but your final cell here, there is a border. Home and in your font group, your border, there is a border. It's not on the left side, it's on the right side all the way around. Oops, I was not on the right cell. Yeah, it is there, but it's darker. It looks a lot darker than what I've got here. So now you're going to go and do the same thing. When you get to, what you should do at this point is right here between H and I, right, that's your raspberry almonds. You see how that's a double line here between those two cells. So I'm going to go back into this font group, go back to the border, and I'm going to find a double line, and that is on the right hand side. So you see how I selected that and then I did that. Now that should look like your sample. Now I want you to go and put all your other lines in there following what the format is here. So you can select the whole range, and on the A column you can put a border on the left hand side if you wish. That's fine, but make sure that down here in the bottom you don't put borders around this cell to the left and the bottom of cell A28. So go on, start making your borders and see how that works.